Here we are, once again, the night before UFC 328. This is in Newark, New Jersey. I'm rejoined by esteemed UFC expert, the one, the only, Shane. Welcome back to the pod. How have you been? We like to shift it more towards the current cards, but big win for one of your favorite fighters. So your thoughts on some recent UFC events.
We gotta shout out Aljo. We gotta shout out Aljo, man. I'm actually so mad. After that win, I literally ordered a bottle of Funk Harbor, which is his rum, and I was gonna take a shot on the pod. Not this time. I'm gonna have it for the next one though. Gonna get that Funk Harbor. We gotta get ready. White House card, dude. Oh my god, I saw a thing that he reposted, that Full Violence posted, of him fighting Volk on the same card as Merab fighting Jan for a trilogy as the two co-mains. Oh my god, I saw that. I threw my phone. I was like, that would be insane. That would be Christmas and my birthday wrapped into one.
It's possible. Do you think Aljo can jump the line in front of Evloev?
Yeah, I mean Evloev's win was pretty good against Lerone. It's just, I think, and it's hard for me to say because I have rose tinted glasses for this kind of stuff because my favorite fighter and everything. But I don't think people are dying as much to see the Evloev fight, and I don't think the UFC top brass is dying as much to see the Evloev versus Volk fight. I really don't, and I think that's really what it's going to come down to if Aljo does get the nod and jumps over him, is how much the UFC can build around this fight. Because just from the accolades, just from the accolades, you can, two former champions. Aljo's going for double belts. He's got or not double, but he's going for double weight division champ. And they're both on historic runs. Aljo most defenses at Bantam. I believe Volk is close or might have it. I actually don't know. But Volk, one of the goats of the featherweight. Some will say the featherweight goat, and some will say genuinely. I don't usually say that Aljo is the greatest bantamweight champion. I do think it was Dominic Cruz. But Aljo's still my favorite fighter, and I think he is in that conversation. And you can make that argument that he is the bantamweight GOAT. But it is hard to. I don't make that personally. That is not something that I personally believe in. But I do think he is top 2, top 3, and he's still in really good shape. That was an amazing fight against Zalal. There was some. I wish he got the finish. That was the only thing that I was really aggravated with. There's many times where he could have got the finish, but he didn't. But it just felt great to see. It felt great to see. He seemed a lot more antsy and a lot more present than he was during the Evloev fight. I felt like the Evloev fight, he was kind of fighting himself a lot in that fight. And it was still a pretty close decision. I think it was still unanimous, but I think it was a close fight. It wasn't a complete.
I remember that was a really close fight. Yeah.
Yeah. It was one that me personally, again, watching it with rose tinted glasses at the time, was like, holy shit, Aljo won. And some people online still think he won, but again, I don't know. But I personally think either give Evloev and Aljo another rematch, which people will probably be mad if that happens, but I would love to.
I don't think they'll go that way.
I don't think it would go that way either. But if you really want to, if you really don't think Aljo deserves it, I think Aljo beats Evloev in a rematch. Which I know is kind of crazy to say, but I really think so. And that fight had just gotten me so ready and amped and excited because I know a win like that is going to boost Merab's fucking his want and need to get back into the cage and get another win too and get the belt back. And especially if they can, because then also you have the co-storyline of both co-mains being best friends. And because I watched, there was a really cool edit that someone made of Merab shouting out Aljo when he beat, I believe, Cejudo, and Aljo was still the champ. And I don't think you were watching them, but the UFC was like Dana was really trying to get Merab to fight Aljo for a really long time. And they both just said, no way, no shot. Merab was on crazy. I honestly don't remember, but It was insane win streak, and oh my gosh, I just can't wait. I can't wait for these guys to get booked again. I can't wait to see what the UFC has in store. Even if Aljo has to fight Lerone, that's really the only guy that I would see them having him fight. Like, I don't see a
I'm looking
point
at
of
the
him.
rankings. Yair's kind of disappeared. It's Lerone.
Yair is should not be. What is he, 5th or 6th?
He's number 5 now. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Was that Pitbull win so good, or did he lose to Pitbull?
He beat Pitbull.
Yeah,
but that was Pitbull's like first fight in the UFC. That was all the way back of April of 2025, I believe.
It was, and I want to say that was his last fight, right?
Yeah, I think let's matchmake for a second. I think you do Yair versus Diego. I don't know why that hasn't been made yet.
Yes. Oh my God.
The beef.
True. So true. And when is UFC Noche usually?
September, I think.
Yeah. So that should be hook, line, and sinker. That would be amazing.
I don't know. You've got Arnold Allen versus Melquizael Costa. I think that's coming up soon in that division.
Yes.
Next weekend.
That's next weekend. That's a good fight.
And there was another fight night that happened. We don't need to talk about that. JDM got slimed out, early first card.
I was seeing ghosts during that fight, dude. I did the opposite and decided to take a nap after work and then pull the all-nighter.
Yeah.
And then go to bed at like noon and wake up at 5 p.m., which was just awful. It messed up my whole week. But it was I always love the vibes of the daytime cards. I really do. The morning ones are a little brutal, but like when they're like the Saudi cards and the French cards are always at perfect times.
I like the afternoon. Yeah, the afternoon end at like 6 p.m. Those are good. Well, I do like Pracha, so for him to win, I think is awesome. I want to see him versus Michael Morales because Islam's kind of, I don't know. I think if we're talking about future cards, I think after White House, everything kind of resets. If they are going to get Conor back, obviously he'll be International Fight Week, but it's kind of wide open if you want to see Islam defend again or one of your guys, Merab or Volk fights somebody in there.
Yeah, or you can also there's a chance that if Ilya has a crazy performance where he takes 0 damage, that's a crazy good fight for Ilya versus Islam.
I know. Apparently it was on the books. No one really knows what happened. Islam had an injury at welterweight. I don't know.
They're always talking on social media. They are always talking to each other, and that's the fight that both of them really want. Everyone else is kind of a roadblock. I don't know if Islam wants. Ilya really wants.
Ilya wants that, yeah.
But and it's like every fight that Ilya fights has been, it seems like just a kind of roadblock in the way for him to eventually fight Islam. Like even before when he knocked out Oliveira, that was kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry, man, this is supposed to be Islam, but he jumped weights the second I moved up. So not to, I don't know if what Islam's actually move here. I really respect Islam a lot. I really like him. He's the pound for pound #1 for a reason. I think he wins that fight, but it is a close fight. I think that's the best fight you can make on the UFC roster right now.
I agree.
Islam versus Ilya. Do
you think this last thing before we go into this card? Do you think that fight ever happens, Islam versus Ilya? If you had to bet on it,
if I had to bet on it, right?
At any weight class.
Yeah, but what's the line though? Because if it's a heavy favorite right now, because I feel like a lot of people would bet on it, I wouldn't do it. But if it's like -120, like plus money, if it's a dog, absolutely, I'm betting on that because I want to see the UFC succeed. I've always said this on this podcast. I like when the UFC makes good business moves, and this would be the biggest fight you can make right now with the current roster.
I've been hearing some things about the UFC. I'm a little worried. I don't know. There's some scuttlebutt that
exactly
things might go downhill. So this would be a big fight. If Conor can come back too in July, we might be. I don't know if people are interested in that, but we'll see. All right. The main point we're here is 328. Are you excited for this card? I don't know.
Yes.
Have you been watching the press conferences, the embedded series? Have you been?
I was watching a little bit of the press conference when I got home today from work. I didn't watch any of the embedded series because I was planning on coming home and watching them all, but I, like you, got caught up at work at the end there. So I didn't really get home till that long ago. But yeah, freaking I love I kind of love this card. I agree with you. We talked about it over text when we were talking about the card. I don't love it for betting. We're gonna make our picks, but I don't love it for betting. I do really like it though for just watching. Like the Sterling card, since we didn't just really quickly, the Sterling card was the first card in a long time. I just didn't have my phone. It was dead during the time that I usually make my bets. And I was just like, you know what? What if I just don't bet on this card? What if I put $0 on this card and I just watch the full thing? And I obviously loved it, but you know, I think this one, I was thinking about making this the same thing, but I have a different plan for this one, and we'll get into that.
All right. Yeah, I didn't love the outlook of this one, but I think as you get into like the main card, it gets pretty good. But the like picks wise for me, but as some of the earlier prelims, we'll see. So we start off with flyweight Clayton Carpenter versus Jose Ochoa. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on both of these guys. I mean, Clayton Carpenter, he's kind of a newer guy in the UFC. Jose Ochoa has beaten Cody Djorden. He's fought Loner Kavanaugh, who's now in like the top 8 or so of the rankings. Just beat Brandon Moreno. Any interest in this one? I think my typical rule is first fight of the night, just avoid. And in this case scenario, it's actually two guys who have been in the UFC a little bit, but I think betting wise, I got to stop betting on freaking every single fight. And this is one I'm going to be like, chill, but we will have to make a pick. So, but your initial thoughts on this one? My
initial thoughts is actually that they're a lot more fresh. They're actually a lot more new. I mean, Carpenter only has 5 fights in the UFC and Ochoa only has 3. So, I mean, and they're both pretty young. They're both pretty young, actually. Yeah, they're both pretty young. And so this is kind of exciting. I can see, I know that Clayton Carpenter's a lot more grappling heavy and stuff, which is something that I like to see. Someone who likes the grappling. I like the strike. I obviously love the striking too, but I love to see some high level grappling. And I think if I remember correctly, Clayton Carpenter is a pretty high level grappler, and that will be very exciting to see. Jose Ochoa, what I remember more from him is he has a lot more go with the flow kind of thing. Like he's kind of pushing the pace wherever the fighter that he's fighting is pushing it, whether it's a ground grappling fight or just a stand and bang type thing, which he can kind of hold his own in both cases. But this is tough. I do like Jose Ochoa here though, especially as a favorite. I think I'll say it now. My new thing that I'm doing this card is I'm not making a single parlay. No bets are getting put together with another bet. I'm sick of it. That morning card, I had so many parlays that were off by one pick that would have just been so good money if I just bet the normal, just the straight line. And so I'm just putting a bunch of just couple buck bets on single line, just the picks. And for this one, I was going to say Jose Ochoa, but seeing the line, I'm going with Clayton Carpenter. I think it's a close enough fight where I'm going with the dog. And I can totally see how Ochoa wins here and it's by a knockout. But if he falls into Clayton Carpenter's kind of grappling game, I think Clayton Carpenter just rides this one out, maybe gets a sub.
Really? I'm going to go the opposite. I think Jose Ochoa wins, but I think Carpenter won't get knocked out. I think it'll be a decision. I think Jose Ochoa by decision, but I don't have a lot of confidence in this fight, but I think Ochoa is younger. He's got more. I feel like he's more of a prospect. He's fought some of the topper or more of the top guys. I haven't really watched either of these guys do work, but I've seen them on a couple of cards here and there. So I'll go with Jose Ochoa to win by decision. All right. Next one of our favorite picks to analyze, somebody who's minus 675. It's Baisangur Susurkaev. I believe we've talked about him a couple of times at this point. Obviously, a major favorite here. Djorden Santos actually fought lost Ozzy Diaz most recently. He's fighting down on this card. So sometimes I feel like you like to take a chance on some of these big odds guys. Throw a couple bucks, see what happens. Will there be a bet placed on Djorden Santos?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm doing a bunch of one-line bets. Might as well do the biggest dog in the fight. I mean, They bring it up every time. If you're not paying attention during that time in the card, you'll hear DC or John Enico, and this is the biggest underdog of the card.
There's one more later that's actually more.
Oh, is he? Oh shoot, this isn't even the biggest one. Okay,
There's one more later, but yeah.
I'm still frick it. It's early prelims. Anything can fucking happen in early prelims. I mean, in any fight, anything can happen. But I feel like the odds makers probably have this one right, and I'm probably going to be wrong, and this will be just money to RI Sportsbook, but we'll see. We're going to see. Just know I will have money on Djorden Santos.
Well, talk to me a little bit about Baisangur. You know, is he worth the hype? I feel like I remember that first fight he had was against that guy who's like in the army, and then he like kind of like played with his food a little bit, and then finally got him out of there.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
don't remember his fight against Eric Makonkino, but are you bought into this Baisangur?
Holy shit! I saw him live. This is the guy. Oh, this is.
I was gonna say. I think you were there.
Oh my god, I'm so silly. Eric Makonkino.
I have no recollection of that fight taking place.
Bro, I was there and I don't. No, I definitely do. I'm trying to remember. I just need to remember what he looks like. That's really his name, because I know we're pronouncing it wrong. It's pronounced like something.
Susurkaev.
No, Makonko.
Oh.
Whatever the fuck his name is. Anyways, regardless. TKO punches. When in the card? Well, it was the second fight on the card. Right after Slava Claus, I was grabbing a beer.
Damn, you missed Baisangur.
I probably saw it, but I definitely was grabbing a beer when it got brought up. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I don't instantly remember this fight or remember what either of these guys look like. Yeah, I'm obviously throwing some money on Djorden Santos, but Susurkaev is, oh my god, this is really. I need to stop using UFC stats and just UFC.com so their faces come up.
Sometimes their faces don't come up.
True. Oh, shit. Yeah, he's kind of crazy. Also, his picture on ESPN is Darren Till, but the actual. Okay, yeah, this is kind of a safe. Yeah, I remember Makoniko. I put money on Makoniko. This is kind of a safe favorite win, honestly.
Well, it is minus 675.
This is a very safe favorite win, and I think he very much deserves to be the favorite. I think this makes sense, and will probably just be on to the next. But I'm gonna throw some money onto Djorden Santos just in case.
Just in case.
He does look very good though. I remember his fight now. He looks a lot more like American than his name kind of sounds like. It looks like American.
All right, what's your official pick? If you had to see it, how does this fight go down officially?
Oh, Susurkaev wins. I think this will be a fight that gets finished early. I think it's going to be a round 1, round 2 stoppage for Susurkaev.
I'm seeing late round 2.
I could see late round. I don't know. It's just the thing is I'm looking at how quick Susurkaev usually moves on his topology and stuff, and I think Makoniko is just tough. I think this is a 1-2, round 1, round 2. I like that. I like that. I think that's a good little. That probably has some decent money on it.
1.5 over 1.5 is minus 175. So if you like the under,
yeah, go under, right?
I think over. I don't know. I feel like both times I watched Susurkaev, like he's supposed to be this hyped up prospect, and he kind of like plays this foot a little bit. And I don't know. I feel like Djorden Santos, he's kind of decent. He's got like an 11-2 record. Yeah, he did lose to Ozzy Diaz, but I feel like he hasn't even been chinned in his career. So Susurkaev would be the first one to do it.
Okay, you're right. You got me here. I think you're right. I think, yeah, I'm down for that.
I think Susurkaev either late round 2 or early round 3 knockout. or submission, but knockout, we'll say officially for my pick. All right. Well, we talked a little bit about the featherweight division, and we got two guys who've been in it for a little bit of time. Pat Sabtini
bro.
And William Gomis. Take me through some of the Pat Sabtini lore. I feel like he's been around for a while, but I haven't seen him.
He's just kind of a goofy guy. I mean, I also saw him, right?
Yeah, he was in UFC 322.
Yeah, he won that fight too.
I had Chepe. I was pissed.
Yeah, I remember you were hyping up Chepe. I remember this now. Yeah, Sabtini, he's a goofy character in my opinion. Not so much like his personality or even his fight style. It's just more so just like where he is in the rankings, because his losses are to Damon Jackson, who went on kind of a run, like not like a crazy run, but he was starting to fight kind of upper echelon people. And Diego Lopez, who fought for the belt twice. You know, regardless of you think he deserved the second time, but he fought for the belt twice. His other wins are against a little bit lower level opponents. I don't really see any names that stick out here that I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a huge win. But I like him. Oh wait, I'm not super familiar with Gomis, at least off the top of my head. What do you think, though? Who are you liking in this matchup?
This is one that I was like, I don't know, because I mean, I feel like every time I see a William Gomis fight, I'm confused on what to do. I don't know. I feel like he's an odd fighter. I mean, and Sabtini is 35, and I do have he does pass the eye test for just like grappling the shit out of Chepe and just like completely dominating that fight. Yeah. And if like Gomis isn't going to be willing to go to the ground with him, or is like not going to be willing to compete on the ground, like I could just see a Sabtini decision. But like you, I'm not like super familiar with Gomis. He's 6 foot and Sabatini's 5'8", so I'm not sure if like Sabatini's going to bring him down.
That's crazy.
Bunch. Yeah. I think this one will go the distance. I just don't know. I think it could be like a 29-28. I just don't know who's going to get the 29, who's going to get the 28.
I mean, seeing the height, like the height difference and the reach difference is kind of crazy. I didn't notice that at first. And he's a dog. I mean, again, I'm doing a bunch of one legs.
Just throw every dog.
Not every dog, but this is a dog that I actually like. You know, I think I'm actually going to change mine and go Susurkaev under rounds, instead of for Djorden. But I like William Gomis here. Pat Sabtini again kind of has some goofy wins and some really serious losses, but the height, the reach disadvantage is crazy, and William Gomis he's not like a complete schmuck. I just don't really remember him that much. It's just he's 15-3. He's got a 15-3 overall MMA record. It's pretty decent. We'll see. It's a dog I can believe in.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I'll go with Gomis by decision. 29-28.
Yeah, I'll go Gomis. By decision. I think it's going to be a little bit of a higher score. I think it's going to be more what is it? It's 30-27. Just because of the fact that he can just constantly jab him, and he's got a 72% takedown defense in the UFC. He just needs to keep shucking him, which there's a chance that he can. And again, I do remember Pat Sabtini. His grappling game is pretty dominant. But if Gomis can just touch him up and just keep him from getting too close, like this is just a textbook win. Pat Sabtini really has to come over some real adversity here, and the fact that he's a favorite is kind of crazy. Because like this is a real just physical adversity that you have to get over here.
Yeah, I agree. I think I wasn't even going to bet this one initially, but maybe we throw some money on Gomis. You know, I need some more dog plays, but there we go. All right, ending off the early prelims, we got a guy who I have to say I don't like watching.
I also saw a fight.
Yeah. Roman Kopylov. It's been rough for Roman Kopylov since I started covering UFC on the channel. Big loss to Paulo Costa in that co-main event at UFC 318, and then you were there when he just completely looked terrible. In my opinion, he's looked terrible in his last two fights. I don't remember his UFC 302 fight specifically, but it's been bad for Roman Kopylov. So here he goes against Marco Tulio. He's been on a little bit of a weird streak. He beats Tresean Gore and he loses Christian Leroy Duncan. Christian Leroy Duncan's like kind of an enigma in the division. So here you are at middleweight with these two squaring off on the early prelims. Any live insights after watching Roman Kopylov lose a decision to RoboCop?
Yeah. First off, everyone around my crowd was chanting Obama because they all thought that RoboCop looks like Obama. But second off, Roman Kopylov, they also called him a, lack of a better term, like a TikTok, looked like a TikTok kid. And
that's a tough blow.
Because of his hair does look kind of TikTok-y. I didn't notice it until they all started saying, I'm like, yeah, he kind of looks like that. But yeah, he's out of some tough looks in the past few fights, which sometimes, can ignite a fighter, but sometimes can really diminish, can really tie two of them. And I think you really had a great poll there by saying Christian Leroy Duncan's just an enigma in this division, because I don't really know where to put him in this division either. Like, he's had some really solid wins and some pretty bad losses. And yeah, I think that this is a easy Marco Tulio. This is definitely not one that I'm going with the dog on. I'm done with Roman Kopylov. I'd rather see him win and get on the right track and me lose a bet than me bet on him and him lose, or me bet on him and him win, honestly.
Yeah, this is one where I agree with you. I'm like, after watching the two recent Roman Kopylov performances, if he goes out there and wins, like, God,
I don't hate him,
but I'm not betting on it.
Yeah, I don't hate Roman Kopylov at all. Like, when he was originally like kind of on his little run where he, like, Chris Curtis was, at the time I had more, I believed more in Chris Curtis than what I've seen now, than I believe in him now. Same with Cesar Almeida. I thought that he was better than he kind of turned out to be. And Roman Kopylov beat them both, and those were, at the time for me, pretty big wins. So I wouldn't hate to see him get back on the winning track. I don't hate him. I think early prelims is also a good wake up call for a guy who pretty recently had, he just had a co-main, right? So
yeah, he was in the co-main event of 318, which was last July. He was ranked at least in.
That's crazy. That was a numbered card. Which,
yeah.
So yeah, I like this. I like us betting on Marco Tulio, and if Roman Kopylov wins, hey, GG's.
We got to reevaluate the strategy after that. But I feel like, we haven't talked about Tulio at all. He's kind of in a weird spot. Some wins, some losses, and I don't know. How do you think this goes down? Because initially I had the under, but I'm kind of, as we talk through it, I'm not sure I love the under 2.5 or 1.5.
No, I don't like the I don't like the under either. Just because I don't know how this is going. I think this is just a straight Marco Tulio -185. Just get it how we get it. Because he does have some decent wins. Like, again, it's very similar to Roman Kopylov, where I thought Tresean Gore was better than he was, and I thought Ihor Potieria was better than he was, but he just, like, he fucked him up. He knocked him out and destroyed, like, 127 strikes with 2 knockdowns against Tresean Gore's 17 strikes. Like, 110 more strikes. Are you kidding me? Like, that is crazy. And then he goes against Leroy Duncan and has a pretty stinker of a performance. Not a stinker, but just like, he went a lot more grappling heavy. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see this fight because it's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a fun one. End of the early prelims. All right. So officially, I'm changing to Marco Tulio via decision.
Nice.
You in the same boat?
No, Marco Tulio straight money line.
All right. Lightweight. The Unks have been running lightweight, and we got two of them right here. Jim Miller.
Another one I seen live.
All right.
Jim Miller.
And Djorden. So, Jim Miller has made it clear. I was doing some research because, I feel like the retirement fights are important when we get those out there. He's got a couple more left. He wants to get to 50 UFC fights, I think it is, or 50 official fights or something. So this will not be a retirement fight for Jim Miller. Djorden, some say he beat Paddy Pimblett in that decision, has been kind of screwed over in his career. These guys lead out the prelims in kind of a division where the Unks have been making a play. I mean, Dariush failed him last week, but besides that, it feels like every time there's kind of these matchups, but they get to go against each other as well. Who do you got in this one? Jim Miller, sneaky Jim Miller, or Djorden?
Everyone say it with me. Jim Miller by submission. That's what you bet every time you see him. It's the same thing I used to do with oh my god, Scottish dude. Why am I forgetting his name? Buck. Oh my god. I hate when this happens. I'm fake. Whatever. The Scottish dude who always got the submissions submitted Jamal Hill. I cannot remember. We're actually not
Paul Craig.
Thank you. Oh my god. Every time. Paul Craig by submission. You always bet Jim Miller by submission. We did it when we saw him on the John Jones card at 309. We bet the Jim Miller submission. He got it done. It was electric. That's how he wins fights, and he wins in other ways too. But as an Unk, that's how I mainly see him pulling out a win, just getting on someone's back and cranking that soldierly.
I feel like the odds in this one are a little crazy, to be honest. Like how is Djorden this much of a favorite? I think just value wise.
I think, to be fair, Djorden's strength of schedule, he lost to Ryan Garcia, or not Ryan Garcia, Steve Garcia, who's that's a pretty decent. He's been on a pretty good run. Right? I am thinking of it right. Garcia, yeah.
Steve Garcia is good. He's in the White House card. Fighting against. Actually, I've tried to book Diego Lopes, but he's fighting in the White House card. I forgot about that against.
I was thinking of a wrong Garcia. I saw that he lost to Garcia, and it was Rafa Garcia. So,
okay,
my fault for that one, folks. But yeah, Djorden. These actually look like pretty bad losses. Bobby King Green, who we'll talk about later, a no contest. What was this? I completely forgot this.
A Pavlovich versus Blades fight night.
What was it for the no? Regardless, Nasrat Hakquast, who's pretty mid, headbutt from King Green. That's why it was no contest. But Nasrat is okay. I think he's pretty good. I don't think he's as good as people say. He does have a win over Dan Hooker, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I think Flash Gordon is a little bit overrated here. I think that is one close fight with Paddy Pimblett. It's kind of been all downhill from here. I mean, a win over Mark Madsen and Thiago Moises is kind of mid, in my opinion. It wasn't anything too crazy. Both first round knockouts, which I guess is nuts, but we'll see. And
I don't think Jim's going down like that.
He's not. Submission. Jim Miller by submission. Bet it with me, and we'll all be green.
Jim Miller by submission. Want to guess the odds on this? DraftKings Sportsbook.
Do I know the odds?
No. Do you want to guess the odds of Jim Miller?
Oh, guess the odds? Oh,
yeah.
That's a great question. If he's plus 220, it's got to be plus 8, plus 900,
plus 1100.
Let's go. That's great, guys. Everyone, get on that right now before that line goes down. Please.
There has been some movement. Djorden was minus 310 earlier today, and now he's down to 270.
That is an amazing bet. Who cares if that misses? Because if it hits, think about it, guys. Think about it. It's electric.
There you go. Well, I'm going with Jim Miller too. I think this is one of my bigger favorites on the card. Bigger underdog picks on the card. Mm-hmm. I think Djorden, it's an unk off. Anything can happen, and I feel like what you expect to happen in lightweight just hasn't been happening. So Djorden being a massive favorite, we're going to go with Jim Miller to get this done. I think Jim wins I'll say by sub just for the bet voodoo.
If you wanna be crazy, you could go Jim Miller round 2, maybe round 1. Maybe round 1, but dude, actually any of those rounds. That's why I'm just doing plain sub. I don't want to do rounds, but if you want to be crazy, I think round 2. No,
plus 1400.
Plus,
Jim Miller round 2 is plus 1400. Round 3 plus 2000. Round 1 plus 1000.
Yo, those are all really good. Sprinkle the love, spread the love, put it where you want, play it where it lies. Let's see how it goes.
All right. I'm trying to see if there's an official. I think we tried to do it last time. We couldn't see it. All right. Well, we got more lightweight fights. Grant Dawson and Rebecki. Another one that I have a tough time deciding. I think heading into a normal card, I'd be like, oh, just give me Grant Dawson. He's a good fighter. But after I watched that loss to Manuel Torres, when he just, had a glass chin and just completely got blown up.
Did you see his fight against against King Green?
This is not somebody I can trust with money on the line. So I don't know if I'm going to go that route.
And Rebecki had that fucking amazing. Like, I will never, ever forget that win against Oralbai because I had money on Oralbai, and that was just the most. It was. I can't believe he's lost 2 fights after that. Like, it just sucks to see because if he just wins a couple like those 2 fights, he is in a really good spot because then they just play that fucking crazy clip of him bloody mess against and like he is war tested. So like. But Grant Dawson's not going to do that, I don't think. I don't think he's going to go to that same length and that same kind of war against a Rebecki. I think he knows he loses that. I think it's going to be a lot more of a crouch sniffing match, which he is a high-level grappler. Like, I'm not going to switch up and say that it's not exciting for me to watch. Right? Yeah, and he's amazing wrestler. Like, when he's on, he is on. But it's about how much Rebecki, notices that and is planned for that, because I mean this is kind of similar where in the main event where like a knee can really change the whole thing, and especially against not so much against the main event, but in Grant Dawson's case, we have seen he has a very, very fragile chin. So, and Rebecki has power. Like, Oralbai just has a crazy chin. If he was hitting the shots that he was hitting on Oralbai against Grant Dawson, I don't think would fight again if he would hit as many, because he was hitting him crazy hard 3 rounds. Like, they were just beating the ever-living shit out of each other. I think Grant Dawson goes out from 2 or 3 of those. Like, I think this is a crazy line, in my opinion, which is why, again, I'm happy to only be doing single line bets and no parlays, because each fight is exciting and my parlay is never over. So I can just go right into, and even if I didn't have money on this is just an exciting fight because of the potential. It also has potential to be very boring Grant Dawson decision. But for someone like me, it's exciting because I do again like to see that grappling, and I like seeing high level grappling. And Grant Dawson is a very high level wrestler. It's just he has a chin.
Yeah, a glass chin. I'll say it.
He doesn't have a chin anymore, so
yeah. Well, I think this one is going to go the distance. I think Grant will survive. I think he'll be more careful after that last fight against Torres. And Torres, I think Torres is more sort of adventurous. I don't know if that's the right word, but like he's more aggressive in terms of like just trying to find that knockout instantly. And I remember Grant was like doing okay, but just if that one bop, that's like, oh shit, it could be over, which is a very scary proposition. I was looking at the double chance here of Grant Dawson to win by decision or Rebecki to win by KO. That's minus 275, so there's no real value in that. But
yeah,
I think if I'm going to lean to one side, I think Grant Dawson wins by decision, and it's kind of like that boring, not boring, but like grappling match, chess match where he can kind of just control the narrative of this fight. Just because Rebecki, like he had that war against Oralbai, and then since then it's been rough sides. I remember like Ludovic Klein, there was like a bad image of him in that fight. So I think I'm going to go with Grant Dawson, and it's not like Rebecki's like at the risk of being cut, where he has the war against Oralbai that'll probably last him another fight or two. So I think Grant Dawson gets back on track with a decision win. Maybe Rebecki like has him on like a like Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards at the last minute, like chasing him down. He's wobbled, but I think Grant Dawson wins by decision 30-27 in a grappling match, and Rebecki maybe has moments, but it's not enough.
Yeah, that's a really good call. That's kind of what I was seeing what would happen, but I'm kind of more just playing more for the hope and for the love of the game. I'm betting to lose money at this point. Just
Nice.
So like if I win, it's a surprising, awesome thing. I never get mad when I lose. Well, sometimes I get mad when I lose a bet, but I don't. I feel like I've been getting a lot better with just like I am doing this for entertainment purposes. I'm putting in the money, so I already assume it's lost. So like I already assume it's lost. Not to say I don't try to bet to win, but I like the feeling of a crazy underdog win more.
Anything that comes back is just net positive at that point because you already consider it sunk cost. I like it.
Exactly true.
All right. Well, we got another one. Welterweight, Joel Alvarez, I believe, who moved up from lightweight. He's going against Yaroslav Amosov.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you've watched much of Amosov. I don't think I've ever heard of this guy until this fight kind of came into fruition, but he's in the top 15 at welterweight. Was able to submit Neil Magny. One of those guys who can just screw you up at any time. So take me through your thoughts and perceptions on Joel Alvarez, who's been in the game since 2019. He's got some, he's fought the sort of vets of the division at welterweight, or I don't know if that was at lightweight. It's hard to keep track. But what are you thinking for this one?
Joel Alvarez is someone that MMA social media has been really pushing for people to bet on because he's such a tasty underdog. And I'm kind of with them
ride with Amosov.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, you could kind of see that. I'm kind of with it. I kind of do like Joel Alvarez too. And the fact, I mean, it's tough. Amosov's pretty old. Like he's 32. I think that this is.
Well, Alvarez is 33.
Oh my God, he's 30. Joel, I thought he was way younger than that for some reason. That's crazy. Okay. Whatever. I think we go. Yeah, let's go Amosov. Frick the UFC social media accounts, and we'll.
Every time they're like, "This is who we take," I'm like, I feel like those picks are always wrong, and I haven't seen them in a while, so maybe they've been good, but I feel like it depends on who you go with.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like every time with the UFC, it's like we got to bet on this, or all the like UFC Twitters, like this guy. It's like that never really goes well. It's tough though because it's like Amosov. I hate the fights where they've only had like one or two fights in the UFC. They take like that next step up. And Joel Alvarez is like a good test. I would not bet. I'm not going to bet on this fight most likely. But if I have to pick a side, I'll probably just go with like Amosov by decision. I don't know.
I'll go. Dude, I keep on going back and forth on this. I think I do one of those kind of things that you were saying earlier. I would do Amosov by submission or Alvarez by KO. I like that. I think that's a good. I think that's a good pairing, and I think that it'd be pretty decent money.
Plus 190 for the double chance if you want it. Alvarez to win by KO, Amosov submission.
That's plus money. I mean, I like the chances of both. I think Amosov has a pretty decent grappling game. I haven't watched much of him because he was mainly in Bellator and stuff. But from what I hear, he's got a decent, and he obviously submitted Neil Magny, who isn't a slouch by no means of the word. He is but he's in a slouch. Yeah, I like that.
All right, my official pick, I'll go with Amosov by decision. Okay. I mentioned there was one fight that has crazy odds. So this man has been sort of hand-gifted a carpet to just walk down. Every single fight he's in is a minus 1,000, and he gets another one here. It's Ateba Gautier back on our screens in 2026 on a numbered event, early or prelim featured fight. This time against Ozzy Diaz. The odds did come down 50 points. He was minus 1,100 earlier today, now down to minus 1050 on DraftKings. Ozzy Diaz plus 675. We mentioned before he fought to Djorden Santos. Don't remember what happened in that fight. I think it was one of the earlier fights in the card. But here we go. Is it like, how do we find value in this fight, if anything?
Well, I found value in this fight because I saw a post by Full Violence of a collab that they did with Ateba Gautier, and it's just the coolest shirt ever for me, a UFC fan, and also someone who just loves their cat. And it's just, I love cats, with the 2 pictures of his cat. There's no violence on it. I love cats, in quotes. A message by Ateba Gautier. Full Violence. And it's just an awesome shirt. If anyone wants a reference of it, just look up Ateba Gautier Full Violence. It'll come up. But I kind of love Gautier. I love when he's on Embedded. I haven't watched it yet. I'm sure they probably meet up with him once. But I love when he's on Embedded. He just goes to a cat cafe and just relaxes and chills. I like him. And I do think that he is kind of getting a lot of easy fights. And that last fight was a pretty tough one for him. It wasn't as at least wasn't as easy as the past. And I'm excited to see what he turns out to be, because it's always scary to see a fighter go up like this, because they're eventually going to get Peyton Talboted, and we'll see if that ever happens. I mean, I guess there's a chance that never does happen, and it's like who came up like that with crazy odds? I'm trying to think. Marab, I guess, kind of, but there's definitely a better example. His wasn't crazy. Yes, sir. Yeah. That's it. That shirt's awesome.
I like that color too.
It is a sick color. It's that kind of like this, where it's like an oversized tee. Oh my god! And it just, because there's 2 layers to the shirt. It's like, oh my god, this guy just loves cats. And then someone reads the fine print and they're like, Ateba Gautier. Oh my god, why do I know that name? Oh my god, he's a UFC fighter. Or they're just automatically like, why the fuck does that guy have that shirt? It is a crazy shirt. I love it. I cannot wait to be wearing that one out.
You ordered it?
Yes, I did order it. That's how I already found value. That's my bet for this fight, is that I bought that shirt. I'm not placing any money on it on this fight.
What if he gets slept?
If he gets slept, that's perfectly fine. I mean, the message still stands. He loves his cats, and I do too. Let's ride. Meow meow.
Yeah, I think, last time he was fighting that Tulio guy, and I was like, this guy's a little bit it up, and I think a lot of people forget that fight even happened, because he brought him to like 3 rounds. I forget if he eventually knocked him out or it went to decision, but I think Ozzy Diaz is just ripe for a first round KO, unfortunately. Yeah, like, this will be like the Tristan Vines fight. Like, this will be on in a corner somewhere. This is a good fight to like transition to like find your TV,
Yes, definitely.
Check your phone, check how your bets are doing.
To your friend's house. This is when, yeah. Well, maybe a little bit before, because it could be a really quick knockout.
Well, they have to spend 30 minutes on each fight no matter what happens. True. I was going to say Ateba first round knockout, but that's already like minus 275. Don't like that bet, but official pick, I'm going with Ateba first round knockout.
Official pick, fullviolence.com/Ateba shirt. No, for real though, obviously, throw a fucking penny on Ozzy.
Oh, so you're going against the I love full cat?
Just throw a penny on him, bro. He's the biggest dog of the night. You'll hear him say it, and you'll lock in for a minute, and then it'll instantly be terrible, or instantly be like, what the fuck? I might actually win this crazy bet. Again, I love, and I would love to see an Ateba wake-up call, because then that really does awaken. And even if he is a one-shot wonder, who cares? Like, then it's an even crazier pull of a shirt.
I feel like last week was his our last time was his like wake up call, not finishing that guy instantly, but who knows?
That's what you would hope. But some fighters don't take that as a wake up call. And this is where you'll see if he did or not.
All right. We'll have to find out on the prelim feature fight. Main card. It's been a card talking about the lightweight unks, and we got King Green versus Jeremy Stevens leading off the main card in 2026. maybe a deficit of having all these fight nights on a back-to-back week. I think I think we talked in the past. You can take one of those and just make better pay-per-view cards. But
100%.
What's your interest level in King Green, Jeremy Stevens? These guys both have been around for a while, so I'm sure you have respect for both of them. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. The line is crazy, though. I will say the line is crazy. King Green, that big of a favorite. I can completely see why. He's a lot more of a fresher fighter. He is
just fraud checks El Huber.
Yeah, he just fraud checks El Huber. Jeremy Stevens did just get a crazy win in bare knuckle boxing, if I'm correct, against Eddie Alvarez. This is literally, it's gonna get unky, guys, and I don't want to bet on this fight, but again, if I'm getting pushed, I will say this will be one that I'll take a favorite. King Green by KO. King Green KO. Second round. Yeah, second or first. I think it's either first or second.
I was looking forward to betting on King Green, but my card number was no over -400, so I was pretty surprised, at -425. So I won't be betting on a side on this one. But I think I'm the opposite of you. Good. I think distance.
Yeah, that's not a bad pull, because I was just doing that just to get the most value out of King Green. I think if you want to get the most value out of this fight, that's kind of good call, or even just over 1.5 or 2.5. 2.5 is what I would do, just to really get the most value. Without
2.5 is -160, so you've got that extra 2 minutes 30 seconds at the end if you want that. And then
what's the distance?
We got -125 on the distance. So
yeah,
I think that's kind of might end in that last couple minutes.
That's kind of mid, but I guess, yeah, that's kind of the best value you can get out of this. Jeremy Stevens could absolutely pull out a win here, though, for anyone who wants to ride the wave. I will personally not be doing that. I will not bet on this fight, even with the rounds. But if you were to, and you wanted to be smart about it, I would do distance or over 1.5.
I think this would be a fun one to just, if you love UFC, this would be a fun one to see happen.
Oh yeah. Unctions are awesome. They're always the best when they get two unks together, because there's really no stakes in the fight. It's just a who wants the highlight type thing. And because if King Green wins this, he's not really moving up, and Jeremy Stevens wins this, he's really not moving up. So it's
he's moving up to a higher unk territory.
Exactly. That's really all it is they're just staying in the same place where they're just going to keep on fighting, up and comers. So, or other unks. So it's cool. I think this is always a fun fight it's a fun type of fight where I agree, just sit back and enjoy. This is where you eat your food. Don't have to worry about throwing your phone across the room because your bet missed or something. So, yeah. I'm
going with King Green by decision, officially. You got King Green second round knockout, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right.
That's what I would, if I was pressed to bet.
An interesting one. Welterweight. This one was supposed to be a fight night main event, but it got rebooked here. Maybe because they saw some lacking potential or lacking stuff in this main card. But the last four fights are pretty good in my opinion. So starting off with this one, we got Sean Brady coming off of a loss you saw in person, that tough loss to Michael Morales. And then we had Buckley coming off of a tough loss. Where he got dominated for 5 rounds by Kamaru Usman. So take me through your thoughts on this one when you see Sean Brady and Joaquin Buckley doing battle this Saturday. Buckley is slight underdog.
Dude, I don't know, because I really liked Buckley's come up before he fought Kamaru and lost. And I really hate. Have we seen Kamaru fight since that fight, or is that the last?
That was the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's rumors of him versus Dricus, which why?
Oh yeah, I don't like that at all. But I think actually he didn't like making that weight cut. I think he was having trouble making that weight cut, right? That's why he was thinking about moving up.
Well, he did fight. He fought Kamzat at up a weight class. So
yeah, it was up a weight class on 2 weeks' notice, and it was a crazy fight. It was great.
So maybe he probably thinks about that fight a lot.
I think that is his plan, is to kind of go for that, which is still crazy to me, because I still remember when they used to tell stories about, and it's probably still true, that he can't walk downstairs.
Oh, yeah, the
Like
knees. Yeah.
his knees are so bad that he has to walk downstairs backwards or something crazy like that.
I think that fight was like last June. Like he's just taking years off at this point. Kamaru, I mean, not to side
Yeah, I
rail
think he
Kamaru,
needs
but
to. Yeah, but regardless, that the reason why I bring up Kamaru and the fact that he hasn't fought since the Joaquin win is I don't know where Buckley is in this kind of. I kind of know where Sean Brady is. I kind of know. I kind of knew where Buckley was, or I had an idea where he was, and then he got that loss against Kamaru, and I just don't know where Kamaru is in this upper echelon of welterweights or middleweights. And I don't know. I'm just very excited to see this fight because it's kind of a win-win. You get two American fighters. One of them's going to get closer to possibly fighting for a belt, which is cool. I think that's really cool. So, but I have to make a pick, I would do. Give me Buckley. I do like Brady, but sometimes he can be a little bit up his own butt. So can Buckley, but I think Buckley's funnier and better money.
I'm gonna go opposite. I think Sean Brady in a similar. This is a very similar fight to me as the one we talked about earlier with Grant Dawson and Rebecki.
Yeah.
I think if Sean Brady can get the grappling off and just follow the Kamaru Usman like game plan or script, it could go well. But if he tries to stand and bang like he did against Morales, like he could just be out of there in like round two. Like, I think it'll take
He's not
a little bit longer to find the shot than Morales. So I think his best thing here is to just go for the takedowns, maybe try and get a submission. But I think Sean Brady will win this fight. I think this is the jumping off point for me, where if Brady gets knocked out here, I'm like, all right, it's time to stop betting on Sean Brady. But I know from what I've watched, he's a good fighter. He's got good technical skills, and I think he's just better than Joaquin Buckley. So I'm going to go with him to win by decision, maybe 29-28, sort of similar to the Grant Dawson, but probably has a tougher time with Joaquin. But if he does what Usman did and just takes him down in the first like 10 seconds of the round, that could go pretty well for him. So I don't know. I like Brady at this number, but I also respect Buckley. And I think you could also, I might throw in a Buckley KO, like,
fade this
just for for insurance,
I like that, and I think you are right. If you're thinking about it like actually analytically and how these fighters actually are, I think this is a total good you're exactly right, where this is very similar to the Grant Dawson fight, and that's kind of the way that I feel like it should go. Like in the timeline that you think in your head, that's the way that the Brady grapplers are going to come in, and the Dawson grapplers are going to come in, and they're just going to out wrestle this power shotter. It's just the fact that it takes one knee, one punch, because you're going in on those takedowns and your head is right there. Like it can happen very easily. And I think especially their size kind of similarities, Buckley and Brady's versus like Brady versus Morales, or like Buckley versus Kamaru Usman. He was very similar size. He actually might be slightly taller than Brady. But regardless, I think that this is a great, fun fight for
Brady's
for
pretty
us fans.
small, right?
He is pretty small. He's 5. Oh, they're both 5'10".
Okay.
He just looked really small against Morales.
I remember that.
Buckley looked really small against Stephen Thompson. I remember that fight. That fight was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was a good one in Utah. I remember that. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for this one, though. I think this will be a good fight, but I'm going with Sean Brady by decision.
Sounds good. Oh yeah, and I'm going Buckley by knockout.
All right. Heavyweight, Volkov, Waldo. This is a fun one. I forgot this was I keep forgetting this is on the card.
Same.
In this spot too, this is like a great fight before the two title fights.
Yes.
It's awesome. Waldo's been on obviously a generational run.
Yes.
We've talked to him a bunch just because we've done a bunch of recent podcasts. We saw him against Derek Lewis, who we'll have to talk about Derek Lewis in a month, but I don't know what's happening with Derek Lewis.
I thought he pulled out. I thought he got injured.
He pulled out of the White House?
I saw Hokit talking about this, but he could have just been trolling.
I'll do some research. But Waldo against Derek Lewis is maybe one of the saddest fights I've ever watched in my life. I remember, I had a little edible, and I was like, what is happening? Derek Lewis is just laying there, like, ready to die, bro. That was sad to see. But that's not to take away from Waldo, who's been on a crazy run, got eye poked, came back, was like...
That Tulio win was so good.
and then
That
he
was
fucked
such a
up
good one.
Shamil in like the first round. So this is a super fun one. All that being said, I have to go with Volkov because from what I've seen with Volkov, I feel like he's the better fighter and he'll figure out a way to get this done. I think he's angling for that rematch. What I respect about Volkov is he's like been in title fight contention. He's gotten passed up by Cyril Gane due to that bullshit decision. But he's stuck around and he's taking fights, and he beat Jailton Almeida by like being grappled, but just doing more on the bottom. I don't know. I think we go Volkov here. It's trustworthy. Waldo, yeah, he's been good, but he also, I feel like when we've seen him go against those top heavyweight guys, like the guys who are actually decent in the division, Pavlovich kind of owned him. And then there's another one, I think. But I'm going Volkov. And I think this one goes the distance too, which might be a crazy pull at heavyweight. But Volkov has been taking these guys a while, and I think Waldo might gas out after like the first round. So that's kind of the narrative I'm running with in my head. What do you think for this fight?
Well, we talked about this before the Derek Lewis fight. I am, because of all my coworkers, not all of them, one of them specifically, my homie that we talk about UFC all the time, but he doesn't really speak English and I don't really speak Spanish, but we try our best. I speak Spanish a lot at work, but not well. And he's Dominican. He loves Waldo Cortes Acosta. So I'm honorary Dominican. We ride with Waldo. We ride with the salsa boy. He literally like 2 weeks ago pointed at me and because I was telling him, I was like, yeah, Aljamain Sterling got that win. That was huge. And he was just like, and salsa boy in 2 weeks. And I was like, dude, I forgot that he's fighting again. So I'm hyped. Honorary salsa boy enjoyer here. White boy salsa boy enjoyer here. Just ready to see this dub. I mean, again, I completely agree with all your takes. Volkov, 100% amazing, top echelon fighter, should be fighting Pereira for the title for sure, if not Aspinall. Cyril Gane should not be getting a fourth title challenge. I think this is. I don't love where heavyweight's at, but it's getting better than where it was at. Like it's still bad, but it's not even close to as bad as it used to be. Like, we have some decent prospects. Waldo Cortes Acosta has been talking, or Josh Hogan has been talking a lot of shit about Waldo Cortes Acosta. So that fight could end up being booked regardless of if he wins or loses here, especially if Waldo doesn't take much damage and wants to get on that White House card and that stuff about Derek Lewis is true.
I'm not finding any truth about the Derek Lewis stuff.
Okay, he might have just been capping because I didn't see any truth about it after either. But pretty much I am betting on Waldo Cortes Acosta, but I completely can see how Volkov wins. And again, this is a similar situation where I feel like that's kind of the way that it should go. The way that it should go is Volkov finally gets his big win over an up-and-comer after getting absolutely bullshitted by Gane, and then having a bullshit fight, even though he won. That's such a shitty way to like have a whole fight camp, and that's the fight that you end up having against Almeida is just so sad. Like it's like that's got to be so depressing and suck for a guy. And I think that it has to inspire him for this fight, especially seeing Gane get to fight at the White House, or just get the fight for the belt in general. Like that's just insane. And so I do think that Waldo Cortes Acosta has the ability to upset that. And I think with a lot, especially in heavyweight, when you start to see these kind of depressing arcs, but you also see it with other UFC stars too, just like these depressing arcs where they just can't get their luck going. And it's just fan favorites like Volkov, who is absolutely a fan favorite. If you've been around, you love
People
Volkov.
love Volkov, yeah.
He's very funny. He's very cool. He's very skilled. He's always been at the top of the heavyweight division and has been no slouch. He doesn't really have easy fights. It just sucks that Almeida fight is in his record because it just, even though he won, and same with the Gane fight too, obviously. Both of those fights just suck to have on your record. And so I think he's going to come in very hungry. But I think Cortes Acosta has just been on this trajectory that's just insane. And again, I completely completely see myself being wrong here. This is a donation to RI Sports. But
Heart
if it
overhead.
happens, what did you say?
Heart overhead.
The heart overhead is true. Yes, yes.
So I'm seeing the UFC press conference actually live right now. Derek Lewis is there, and him and Hockett are having some weird moments. I guess we'll have to debrief on that before the UFC card, or the White House card.
Weird.
Officially, I'm going to go with Volkov by decision in this one. I think 29-28, maybe Waldo has a strong first round, but Volkov recovers.
I like that.
After that.
I like that.
How do you think Waldo gets it done?
Waldo, I think it's either a painstaking decision where he kind of mixes in a little bit of grappling, but mainly striking and just somehow getting over that reach, just kind of always pushing forward. Because I think Volkov is going to be more on the back foot here. I think the way that the way that I see Waldo winning is Volkov being more on the back foot. And I think if Volkov wins, he's going to be a lot more aggressive and use his reach to his advantage. But I see Volkov being in the back foot, Waldo getting either getting a takedown or two, but I think mainly just figuring out with the striking. I can see it going decision. Now that I'm talking about it by myself and looking kind of over these numbers, I do kind of see Waldo just kind of out pressuring him and just kind of getting him down with strikes, like just a TKO, standing TKO, or even just a regular KO in the first round. I'm not confident enough to do it by round. If I have to make a pick, I guess I would do KO second round. I know I've been saying that a lot. I would rather just, if I'm actually betting, I'm just taking the KO. I'm not picking around, but KO.
Let's see. I'll bring up the odds on that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this. I won't be mad at who wins this because I like Waldo too. So whoever wins.
Yes, I like both.
Waldo
guys
by
here.
KO is plus 450. So there you go.
Damn, yo. Okay, that's a fun line. That's what we call a fun line. We run that.
There you go. All right, the co-main event. It's flyweight. I feel like we have to honorarily say, Alex Pantoja, we remember you're out there. Alexandre Pantoja, we remember you're out there. You're going to come back and beat whoever wins this fight. But we do have to play this out before. It's Tatsuro Taira and Joshua Van, both on that same Merab card at UFC 323. Taira got the big win over Moreno in the second round, and Joshua Van watched Pantoja go down on his arm and got the championship belt. This fight was supposed to happen, I believe, in the Miami card, was rescheduled to here due to Van having some issue. I don't know. I think it's maybe an injury or something. But here we are, Tatsuro Taira, Joshua Van, interim flyweight title. Well, no, this isn't the interim because technically
it's a full on.
It's the real.
Van won the title, even though, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if you saw the clip of him now saying he made Pantoja break his arm. Yeah, okay. He did. See,
I don't like that. I like Joshua Van. Like, don't say that stuff.
Same. I was like, dude, I can he's just young. I mean, he's just young, bro. This is crazy. This is I think it was the fourth or fifth. No, I think it's the fourth. Youngest combined age for a title fight. Taira's 26, and I think Joshua Van's 24.
Yeah, I think Joshua Van's a little younger than us. Well, I've talked about Joshua Van a lot of times so far because he was one of those guys who had a crazy 2025 and 2024 leading into 2025. But it's been a couple months. He's had probably the longest time in a while, 5 months off. And I mean, Taira said the same thing. They fought on the same night. But how do you think this one goes? 5 rounds were scheduled for. Do you think it makes it all the way to the end of 5 rounds? Or do you think probably Joshua Van might, if he's going to win, it's going to have to be a knockout? And if Taira's going to win, it will be a submission in that sense. But I'm leaning Tatsuro Taira by submission. I don't know.
I like that pick a lot. I'm big. I've been big on Taira. I remember that loss that he had to Roy Ball when Roy Ball was like, this kid is going to be champion someday. I need to train with him. I really like, after beating the guy, like that just kind of shows. I'm excited. I'm just excited to see how this goes. I'm full on Tatsuro Taira. Not again. I love Joshua Van. I'm super excited to see this fight happen. I can't wait to see who wins this. this is kind of reminiscent because Tyra does have a pretty similar game to who was that Japanese fighter, that Joshua Van, where we had separate picks, where you picked Van and I picked
I remember Roy Saruya or something.
yeah, Saruya or something like that. Tatsuro Taira's grappling is very similar to very similar to what's his name? God, I'm right here. To Susurya. Yeah, Ray. He was that was a fun fight too. I'm excited to see how this goes. I think you're right. Tatsuro Taira by sub is an awesome pick. I'm kind of feeling Tatsuro Taira by decision. Just because I see Tatsuro Taira just doing the grappling thing the whole time, and Joshua Van just barely doing enough to stay away from the submissions. But yeah, I love that pick too. I'm with you there. Either Tatsuro Taira by sub or him by decision. I'm gonna go decision to be different.
All right,
Not again, though. Van has a great chance to win here, and it would be crazy for his career if he gets a win here. Like really, really good. And it's not no slouch Tyra. This is a great win for Tyra too. Like Van is still like, we just need to forget about the Pantoja fight. We need to forget about the fact that happened. This isn't really for a belt.
Pretend like this is an interim.
Exactly.
I thought it was already for an inch.
This is an interim fight basically, and this is awesome. This is an awesome fight. I hate that this is considered Joshua Van's first defense. And if he wins the belt again, he'd be a 2-time champion. Like, it just feels wrong, but we'll see. I like Tyra here, but I can again, very similar to the past few fights where I love my guy, but I also love the other guy. Like, this is a win-win for me. I love to see either guy's career get launched from this. I just want to see a good fight.
It's been a rough couple months. Pantoja, Yuri, JDM.
True.
Anyways, yeah, I think this will be fun. I'm excited for this one. I think I do like Joshua Van, but just like something about the way he won that title irks me. And I don't like the comment you just said about him saying, I made Pantoja break his arm. No, you didn't, bro. And I think he is a little young. Like, I know Tyra's also pretty young, but I feel like Joshua Van might almost, and you might be able to speak to this kid, like the Marab kind of effects where you're fighting so much. And I know he's had the most time off he's ever had, but he pulled out of an injury, or he pulled out of the April card with something. So that's a little concerning in that regard. So you're back so soon. I think Tyra gets this done, maybe finds submission like the third, fourth round. And he's our new champion, which is crazy to say, but this should be a fun one. I think, might be more interesting than the next fight we'll talk about, which curious to hear your thoughts on the main event of the evening. Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. The dust has settled seemingly where, there were death threats. There was a lot of talking, a lot of hype into this press conference. I think they tried to square him off and face him off a couple times. It's not going to work because these guys hate each other's guts. And in terms of just the fight, Khamzat Chimaev is minus 535 to beat Sean Strickland. Now you might say that's crazy, but I'm young enough to remember when Sean Strickland was this big of an underdog in a title fight against somebody who nobody thought would beat. Israel Adesanya beats the shit out of him. Obviously, much different stakes here, much different style of fighter. But is there intrigue in? I mean, I think there's just natural intrigue in this fight, right? Just because of the talking they've done. There's heated rivalries. I think this one's going to be like when Manal Kape fought that kid Makayev, and like there was so much energy built up, and then like nothing happened. Like, and I hate to be like a Debbie Downer on this, but I just think it's going to be another. Like, I watched Khamzat beat one of my top two, probably my favorite fighters in the UFC. Just sat on him and laid him for 5 rounds, and there wasn't even like, I love Dricus, but there wasn't even a moment of Dricus doing anything, and it was sad. And I know Sean Strickland's got better wrestling defense. Maybe you can speak to this, but like, why am I not expecting to see just another Khamzat Chimaev like 5-round decision win over an opponent who's not like a grapple heavy guy?
I think that. Sorry, I was getting a call, but I think that Sean Strickland Khamzat Chimaev is way different of a fighter when you think about Israel Adesanya. Almost exactly different. I think Israel Adesanya, obviously, you can look at just the straight fighting style, striker versus a striker versus a grappler. You can also look at the fact that Israel Adesanya is more of a counter fighter. Like, even forget about the punching versus grappling. He's more of a counter fighter, whereas Chimaev is more of an aggressor. And then you also have to think about the emotional part. Like, Israel Adesanya is not great when he's an emotional fighter. It is kind of where he starts to dwindle. And when he's like stoic and he's feels like he's the man, he is awesome. But when he's even like his when his self-image is even shattered a little bit, it's rough. It's rough to watch. And Sean Strickland is also kind of similar to that. He is able to use that a little bit more than I see Izzy can, where he uses that emotion to fight better, like less of a fight IQ, but better. It's hard to say, but like in that last round of, I forget if it was first or second Dricus fight, where oh my god, is it Eric Nixick? I forget his coach name. I think it's Eric Nixick, but where he says to Sean Strickland, where he's like, do it for the kid that couldn't fight back then. Like, do it for you, do it for the young you. And when he does get like that was kind of his best round, even though he still ended up losing the fight. And I might have lost the round. I think that might have been the one round he won or something. I forget. But all roads lead to Khamzat winning. But I can totally see it, man. I can totally see it. The Sean Strickland I don't think he's doing what he did to Izzy. I don't think it's going to be a decision win, because I just don't see how you do that against Khamzat. I really just don't. When you fight how strong Sean Strickland fights, he has to just come out here with a new game plan. And if he just like, because his power was just so, that's like the kind of the main stick that people give to Sean Strickland, even though he does obviously have knockdown power, his knockout power is a little bit lackluster, and he just kind of gives the pity patty point fighter hits. And yeah, the stance, and he's you can't do that against Khamzat. You just can't. And like, I feel like the same me was saying this about Israel Adesanya. And again, I wanted to say that whole spiel beforehand about how Khamzat and Israel are two completely different fighters. Like, they are completely different fighters. But I felt the same way again when he fought Adesanya, and like, I was completely wrong about that. So fuck it, let's ride, man. Again, this is either okay, yep, that's what I expected. That was utter dominance. That was kind of cool, I guess. Because Khamzat Chimaev, his fight against Dricus was pretty boring. It was pretty much a snooze fest. His fights before that, though, were very, very exciting. People are forgetting. They're taking that's very much recency bias. He is an exciting fighter because of how aggressive he is. And especially if you are into grappling, it makes it obviously a lot easier. But he puts a hurting on people. Like, he broke Whitaker's jaw. He fucking He has some crazy knockouts too, where he just runs across the stage and fucks someone up. And he's not Manel Cap. He's not Mokaev. I feel like he's really good at the second that horn blows, run straight at Sean Strickland and do something crazy, that's the point where Sean Strickland counter punches or counter knees if he's going for a takedown. But I can totally see this happening. Oh my goodness. I'm just so excited to see what happens. Even if it's a boring fight, then at least I can be like, okay, this is what I expected. Other than that, then I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Other than that, because like Khamzat regains his love, his how beloved he is by the fans, because he really was when he was coming up. He really was super beloved, and then he started saying some crazy stuff and doing some crazy stuff. But same as Sean Strickland, that's kind of why people love him. So I'm just excited to see this one, and I feel like Strickland fights. The one thing I don't want to see is all this build up, and at the end of the fight, Strickland loses and goes, "Oh my god!" Like what he said about Dricus after losing to him second time. I fucking love Dricus, man. I love that guy. He's a great fighter.
I don't think that'll be part of it this time.
I don't think that's gonna happen either, especially not without a rematch. If whatever happened again, it would have to be fucking close. Like, but I'm just excited to see this happen, and I would love for Sean Strickland to shock the world. I would love for that. I don't hate the guy, even though
I'm
I
rooting for
don't agree
Sean
with.
too,
Yeah,
but
I don't agree with his takes and stuff, but I don't hate the guy. I love what he's like. Uh, for what he stands for, as for like a person who obviously has gone through as much trauma as he has, to kind of uplift himself and use that as motivation is very cool. Like, I love to see that from someone, and I think he's super transparent and very like, and I think that makes him very understandable in a way. Well, I don't agree with most of the things that come out of his mouth. I understand the guy from at a human level, and I like to see. I'd love to see him win. I'd love to see him shock the world.
yeah, I'm rooting for Sean. I'm not tricking myself this time into being like it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I
don't.
just
Yeah,
my play here comes up by decision. Sean's never been submitted, so it's possible that it happens for the first time. But I feel like he holds off the submission, doesn't get knocked out by Kamzat. I think Kamzat once that first and second round maybe is more because I feel like he fought differently against Dricus,
he
where it
did.
was like
Yeah,
kind of like a more toned down, not toned down, but like more strategic. We're going to take him down and we're just going to like advance positions and not really like be as aggressive as before. And I think you want to look to do the same thing against Strickland, where like there are some similarities between Strickland and Dricus. I feel like not a ton, but like I don't know. I think he's going to be wanting to do a similar thing. So I'm going to go with Kamzat by decision plus 300. I don't know how it's that high. But I think people think maybe Kamzat gets back to that form that people loved him and pulls off something crazy.
yeah. What's his KO or sub? Because that's kind of tasty. I think that's what I would probably go. Comes out
Let's
by
take a look.
finish. Maybe not by
Uh,
KO, but by sub. Because I think Whitaker hadn't been submitted.
so Kamzat by sub is minus 105, and then him by KO is plus 380.
Whoa, plus 380 is kind of crazy. No, but I'm not doing that. I would do comps up by sub. I love that. What do you say, 102 or 120?
Minus 105.
105. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much a straight bet. How about Sean Strickland by submission plus 4,500?
That's insane. No. But Jim Miller, guys, remember, Jim Miller by submission. Pick the round, any round. Jim Miller by submission.
That's the big one. All right. So you think Kamzat by sub?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's another card in the books. We didn't like this card, but I think this is one of the. I think we talked about this one the most out of the most recent.
I just don't like I don't like the betting aspect of this card. I love most of the fights on these. I'm excited to see the outcomes of them. But yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a good one. How's you still streaming on Twitch, Instagram? Still valid plugs?
Yes, sir. Sometimes we do be maybe go check out Shizzy Shane on YouTube if you want to see some gaming clips. If you want to see a little bit shorter or there. I don't think many of them are from stream, but they're a lot more like just personal clips that I just have. I think they're on I think they're public. But yeah, they're just they are public. Yeah. Check out I think that's my name. Let me make sure I got the name right. Yes, sir. Look up SHIZZI SHANE. And that it's an old guy with a cat and a Miller High Life. If you want to see some gaming clips, just some old school ones.
All right. New plug. We'll run you up. I've been thinking about streaming some like Let's Plays or something, figure something out.
You got to, bro. You got to start streaming, bro. Always play gaming. You don't want to lose your inner gamer, bro. I've been really enjoying speedrunning Minecraft. I need to stream it more because it's a really fun time. New PB guys, we're at 32. The sub 30 is still on the hunt.
All right. We'll have to stay tuned for that. So I think next one we have is the White House card, I believe, the big numbered cards.
That's crazy.
So that should be a fun time. We'll be talking in June. Yeah, 3 fight nights in between. 1 week off. looks like, in 2 weeks, which, you know, we might need that. But New York, New Jersey, you know, stay safe out there because there could be some dangerous events.
True. I thought I almost, because this is a close one. Me and Joey we threw it out there about going. It was before Van and Tyra got put on the card. If they were on the card, I think it would have been a lot closer of a decision. But I was like, spend all that money to go out to New Jersey and watch Strickland versus Chimaev. Has a chance to be a stinker. I don't know.
Who knows? Well, let's hope the fights are good. And then we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for sticking all the way through the video for UFC Freedom Fights 250. Topuria versus Gaethje press conference took place today. So we'll see you then. Peace out.
Peace out, brother.